Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings! Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. We have quite a bit of news to talk about today. A very hot topic that has been circulating around for the past couple of days. A lot of people feel very strongly about this topic, so we'll dive into it shortly. Elaine is out this week, but Garrett, how have you been doing this week?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing just fine. How about you?
How's California life treating you?
Oh, it's pretty chill. The air has a distinct smell in San Francisco, just a little bit of something just out in the air, you know. But yeah, no, it's fine. It's beautiful weather. That's all I have to say. Is every day there's no snow, and I enjoy it. I don't have to shovel snow out.
You missed quite a bit of snow last week. There's some more snow coming to Pennsylvania this week.
Not missing it. No.
Sunny California. Things have been going well though?
Yeah. Just settling into the job. I love our apartment. It's such an upgrade from, I don't know if you've been to Pittsburgh, but it is an old city. Just because, you know, it was an industrial boom, like one of the first cities in the US, and a lot of the houses and the apartments there, a lot of the infrastructure there, pretty old, pretty aged, has good character, but I was getting kind of tired of it after 4.5 years. So coming in here,
Philly's the same way. Philly has a lot of old architecture like that. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm in a newer apartment in a cool district in San Francisco, and it's very bikeable around the city, even though I don't know how to ride a bike, so I'm gonna have to learn.
Really? You don't know how to ride a bike?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you should learn.
I can't believe. Yeah, I can't believe. I don't know if I ever said that in Shack, but yeah, no, I've never learned, so I need to
I feel like I would have remembered that if you had said that.
Right. So
wow,
but,
you just never learned as a kid?
Well, I was learning, and then I just stopped, and my dad just let me stop, and I was just afraid of ever doing it again. The thing is, like, I'm sure I'll be fine with it because I've rollerblade, I've pennyboard, like I have okay balance. It's just when I see a bike, I just like I don't know.
I had a friend in college who was the same way. I think she had ridden a bike for a little tiny bit as a young kid, and then I think she said she fell one time and then never biked again after that. And so she said that she didn't know how, but I think if you tried it out, I think you would probably learn pretty quickly.
I could probably rent a bike like just around the block and just go around the apartment complex a couple times. I'll be fine.
You and Fiona should go for a bike ride. That would be so
I'm
fun.
sure. Yeah.
Glad that California life is going well.
It's good. It's really chill.
Good. Not too much going on around here. I have been very busy as always. I sleep a lot. Work has been so busy, but not too bad. I have been playing more Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'm right at the end. I've been playing a little bit more Banjo-Kazooie on stream. I am not so good at that game, but it's fun. It's fun. It has a lot of charm. I'm enjoying it.
Cool.
Other than that, not too much gaming going on. Have you been finding time for
Cool.
gaming? I know you've been playing some stuff.
Yes, I've been playing some stuff. I know I hinted at it last week, but I have been playing Monarch. I got a review copy from NIS America. Thank you very much for the code. I have been digging my teeth into it. I'm about maybe like 13 hours in, and I think I'm pretty okay with this game after 13 or 14 hours. But yeah, I'll just get into a little bit of impressions. But if you want more in-depth impressions, I did a big, detailed, in-depth review with Ryan Turford and Matt from the Yumi and Capri group over there. It was an extra episode of the RPG Cave. So go, guys, check it out. Yumi and Capri on podcast services and on YouTube. We definitely talked a lot about Monarch, and their opinions differ than mine too. Monarch, it is a turn-based JRPG, and you kind of go through a story very similar to like a structure like Persona or like any other kind of JRPG that you could think of. Like you have a band or a cast of characters that you kind of meet along the way. And you're trying to figure out you're just this student in this school, and then there's this mist going around going on around the school that makes students go crazy, like psychologically crazy, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, why is this happening, and then you figure out kind of later in the game. I won't spoil it too much, but you basically beat these bosses that eliminate, like, kind of get rid of the mist. It is one of the more like obtuse RPGs I've played in a long time. I think it was Matt or Ryan said it perfectly. It was more like a PS2 or PS1 in terms of design choices. There's a lot of different things in this game where you kind of just go into certain puzzles or whatever, and you think you know what you're doing, but it's so directionless. You go into a level, let's say a floor of like one of the buildings, and you're gonna have to figure out how to go to the next obstacle. In order to get to the next obstacle, there's this student kind of blocking the way or whatever. He's crazy. And there's only one dialogue option, and that dialogue option won't get you anywhere. So you have to like search around in the school and kind of get clues from, like, let's say a piece of paper or like a code or like kind of information. So you kind of have to like talk to everyone in this game. The game does not tell you where to go. You just got to talk to everyone and then figure out the puzzle.
That sounds like that can get frustrating if there's a lot of options and only one thing works, and maybe you missed one thing. Could you be walking around trying to scratch your head, trying to figure out for a very long time? Is it kind of like that?
Right. I think it was very directionless, but I was able to get through at least the first 12, 13 hours. Like I was able to get through without like a guide or whatever. But Matt, he was like 26 hours in, and he had to, on the last 4 hours, email PR 3 or 4 times. And he just for a guide, just for an answer to a puzzle. And they're like, and he kind of just gave up in the end because it was just not enjoyable for him to finish it.
Yeah.
Because he had to keep reaching out to PR.
Right. If you have to be, and obviously when you're reviewing a game, you can't look stuff up, right? If you have an early review code like that. And I feel like if you're having to do that multiple times, it's really not a good sign, that it sounds like it's the game design.
Yeah, it's a lot of the game design. I have to admit, when I kind of beat a puzzle or two, like I feel like, oh, I actually went through this. I feel accomplished or whatever. But man, once you're in a puzzle, I had to look stuff online. I had a screen capture like on the Switch. I've been playing it on the Switch. And then you just go back to the like certain notes or whatever and like convert it from numbers to like letters and like stuff like that. But yeah, that's one thing that. Go for it.
A difference between difficulty and just frustration.
Yes. Exactly. So I mean, that's just the design choice. It is more of a very like old school RPG in a sense that you got to talk to everyone because you get rewarded by talking to people. You get stuff into your like kind of like booklet or whatever in order to get like what is it about the students, what is the information or whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of the puzzle part or puzzle aspect of it. Of course, I haven't talked about much of the combat. So the combat is it's very different than a Persona game or a Fire Emblem game or whatever. It is turn-based, it is tactics, but it's more along the lines of Valkyria Chronicles or Trails of Cold Steel, where you have a character and you get to move it in a certain circle or radius, and if you can get close enough to an enemy, you can like do an attack move or a special ability, buff, debuff, stuff like that. So it's free range instead of like tile based for each of your characters, and all of your characters go first and then the enemy turn and all their characters go.
Hmm.
um and so kind of the feeling or the rhythm of the game is like you want to like get behind the enemy so you can do like a backstab move, because if you hit right in front, they'll hit right back at you. If you do a backstab, it's a critical hit and they won't hit back. But that could backfire you if there's enemies ahead, right? Like if you're turned around in your back on the first enemy, you're leaving that one character vulnerable for the next turn. So it's kind of
Yeah.
an interesting rhythm going on there, the formation. And then also a big thing is you want to crowd your characters to one enemy at a time because they have like combos or whatever. If they're close enough, if you hit, all your other characters can hit at the same time. You get an insane amount of damage in one enemy.
How are
So yeah.
the story and characters?
So I think that is one of the most highlighted part of the game. I think the
Okay.
story is it's fine. I haven't really dive into it too much. It's kind of a predictable structure going on where you're kind of done with the first level, and then there's various other buildings on in the high school or whatever that you're basically they're levels. They're like bosses in there and whatever. And so you just kind of go to each building, and then in each building, you accrue one companion. They're like your sidekick or your side character in that level. And then once you're done with that level, that character goes away. And so that kind of like that frustrates me a little bit because like, no, I've been
Right.
building this character up. Oh, okay. He just drops out of my
That's
out of my
odd. Why
game.
would you spend so much time like investing in a character then only for that to happen?
Right. I think, I think they come back in somehow. And I was like, okay, they're still here. They're still in this main hub room or whatever, even though I don't have them in this current like segment of the game. But yeah, I think the side characters and the villains, really good writing. Really good motivations behind the villains too. Like it's not one of those like, oh, everything must die. I am an enemy because I'm an enemy. It's like, no, they have some motivation or some desire or the reason why they're like this and why they're doing this. So on one aspect, that's pretty cool to see in this game. And the character art fantastic. If like the graphics and stuff, the 3D graphics is not like impressive at all. And
Hmm.
I didn't expect it to be impressive because this is a budget JRPG kind of game. But yeah, the 2D character art style is really good. Other than that, oh, the major slog of this game where I wanted to stop was the pacing of this game.
Hmm.
Basically from like the second area to the third area of this game, it like jumped like 6 or 7 levels in these enemies,
Really?
and I struggled so bad. You have to grind
I
in
was
this
gonna ask
game.
how much
Mhm.
grinding is involved. It sounds like there definitely would be if the pacing is that sporadic.
Yeah, it's too much grinding. It's too much of the same repetition. And of course, repetition's great. Like we see it all the time in games. I'm just talking about I had to stop and like it's like, okay, time to do this one level for 3 hours in order
3
to
hours
be
it took?
yeah, to be manageable, to go to the next level. Yeah, the pacing's not good in this game.
Well,
They
that's not
could
good.
have really, and that's an easy fix. I think you could just scale it a little bit better. But I turned on, so there's like a casual mode in this game and a normal mode. Casual mode was like I had to turn it on, and like even at that I struggled. Even at like the most base level that you can do in a certain segment of the game, the enemies are fixed at that level, so you have to go through it somehow.
It sounds
Yeah.
like this game could have benefited from, do you know how like for Octopath Traveler, Triangle Strategy, they did things like where they did an early demo and they took feedback.
Hmm.
I know it's like a different, it's not the same studio and whatnot, but like I feel like it could have benefited from this sort of thing where maybe they were getting feedback from like a demo or
Yeah.
something beforehand.
Yeah, they had the game released in Japan like last year.
Oh, did they? Oh,
Yeah.
and okay,
Well,
interesting.
and again, these people, they're not like a big AAA studio. They're small. They're a
Right, I
small
get that.
RPG budget title. So I'm sure they wouldn't have time to like fix all the stuff, but yeah, maybe a little bit more playtesting. Maybe the Japanese audience like that a little bit more, like a hard jump in scaling or whatever.
Maybe.
Um, yeah. So overall, it's just if it's some good aspects in this game. I'm not saying overall a bad game or I give up. The story's great. I think the puzzles, yeah, they just get very directionless. I love there's some horoscope type of quizzes you take in this game as well. And based on your choices in these horoscope quizzes, you increase certain base traits of like it's all the seven deadly sins. So it's like gluttony or wrath
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever.
That's
They
kind of
they
cool. I like
put
that.
yeah, they put a lot of time and effort into the writing aspect of this game. So yeah, if you're into JRPGs, if you are a JRPG fan, you're down to the Idea Factory, NIS RPGs. I think you would like this game past all the kind of the negative aspects I've been mentioning. If you've just played like a Persona game, like one Persona game, or hey, I like JRPGs, like maybe one or two. This game is not for you. This game is like wait
It's not
for
a
a
Rebecca game.
guide. It's not a Rebecca game. It's not a
Not at
Donnie
all.
game. Um, it kind of on handheld on my Switch, it kind of struggled a little bit in certain areas, and it looks like a Vita game. So, guys, just letting you know, it's a little bit rough on handheld. Ryan said it's fine on dock, so it is a manageable game. It runs fine.
Mhm.
It's just it chugged in certain places. I'm like, is this game from like 2005? Like it's just looks rough. But yeah, I want to get back to it when there's a guide and when I can have time to grind a little bit. It was just always felt like I wasn't having as much fun. Probably like
It
a good
doesn't
half of the
seem
game.
yeah, it doesn't seem like it feels like it has potential with those fixes, but in its,
Hmm.
in its state with not really knowing and not wanting to grind all that much, I can see
Hmm.
why you might wanna
Hmm.
wait.
Exactly. So that's that. Sorry, I've been going along a little bit. That's the end of my impressions. Go listen to the RPG Cave extra episode. We go way more in depth into like individual aspects of the game and listen to our positives and negatives about the game. So there you go.
There you have it.
Um, yeah, I've been playing the Triangle Strategy demo as well, guys. It's great. Just play that thing. Like it's so like it's so
Does that come out
refreshing playing
March
that game. March 4th.
4th? Okay.
So very close.
That'll be here soon.
Um yes, and the demo is the first 3 chapters and that gets transferred over to the game. So
Okay, that's good.
there you go. Also Monarch as well. Monarch there's a demo and the save data transfers over once there's a like the version 1.01 or whatever. But yeah, Triangle Strategy. It's so good. The story is it got me intrigued. There's a lot of great characters in there. They're slowly introducing you. I'm on the second chapter right now. It is Final Fantasy Tactics in this game, like through and through. So if you guys love that type of stuff, you're gonna love Triangle Strategy for sure.
2 years in a row to be a good JRPG fan.
Exactly. A lot of great RPGs coming out this year too. You got Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming out later this year. Oh, yeah. Lots of good
Uh,
stuff.
Mario Rabbids is coming out this year. I know that's not a JRPG, but that's another tactical type game.
Yeah, that's a tactical game, and I cannot wait for that one. I got that pre-ordered. I don't know when it'll come out. They said between April and this year and April next year. So kind
Oh,
of a
right, right,
big
right.
gap there. Yeah.
I think
But
it'll be
hopefully
this
this
year.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it will be. All right, going into this week in Nintendo, the big headlining story we have today, Nintendo has announced that the Wii U and 3DS eShops will close their doors in late March 2023, so next year. You'll still be able to re-download games and DLC beyond this date, but new purchases will no longer be possible. New content will no longer be released. I think we knew this was coming eventually, right?
Mhm.
However, kind of made some people upset. Nintendo stated that they have no plans to offer classic content in other ways. So if you're thinking about maybe buying some games before then, you should know that credit cards can no longer be used to add funds as of May 23rd of this year. And eShop card funds can no longer be added to accounts as of August 29th of this year. So if you're planning to buy games before March next year, think about those payment options and start thinking
Yes.
about that now. They also released a little thing on their website, a My Memories page, where you can look back on your Wii U and 3DS play statistics. It's kind of cool. But yeah, get your systems now, get your games now, because it sounds like they're not offering new ways, to get these.
Yeah.
At least as of right now, they haven't announced any way to add Virtual Console to the Switch or any of these Game Boy Advance games, any of these other systems and games that we already have. Before we kind of talk about that in more depth, Pokemon
Yeah.
Bank is affected. A lot of people had questions about Pokemon Bank on 3DS. So, following this eShop closure announcement, the Pokemon Company came out with an announcement saying that they will be making Pokemon Bank entirely free when the eShop goes offline in 2023. So, as long as you have it downloaded on your 3DS before then, you can keep using it. So there's no word what will happen to transferring Pokemon from old to new generations when the 3DS online services shut down completely, but you'll at least be able to keep using Bank free, free of charge for the time being. It's a paid service right now. It's only $5 a year right now. But it will be free since you won't be able to buy it anymore.
Mhm.
So what do we think about all of this? We had lots of people writing questions about this.
Right.
A lot of strong opinions. I'm seeing so much discourse on
Right.
Twitter, really strong sides on either way. And I'm curious if you
Hmm.
fall into one of those camps or if you are kind of seeing things in the middle, or maybe you just
Mhm.
don't care.
Well, I definitely care. I think, yeah, the thing is, we saw this coming. Like, this should not be a surprise to anyone or anything like that. And of course, I'm on the side of let's preserve games as much as we can. But I also understand that this is a business. Nintendo is a business that has maintenance costs and these servers need to keep up. I read a long thread today on Twitter from an IT guy, and he basically just kind of broke down this perspective of like, this is why they need to shut this down now because they're gonna sunk in a lot of costs into just keeping these things up, these services up. But I wish there was something we can do to circumvent in some aspect. I I just wish that Nintendo would do something along the lines of like transferring some games over in some capacity. um, I'm not really sure what they could do with the 3DS ports in certain aspects because it's two screens like and one's a touch
Mm-hmm.
screen. Like, how do you port that over? What's the logistics behind that? I don't know. I'm not too sure. You can emulate 3DS. Like I've seen it before. It's just a struggle. Like you don't really want to play 3DS on a computer, let's say, or on a Switch, unless they do it very, very well. So yeah, like I'm glad that they gave us a year at least. Well, let's say they gave us 6 months really to like put in money in order to
Right.
purchase games.
Yeah.
And then after that, there is not going to be no longer able to purchase. And then eventually, I would say maybe not even a year later, I think they're gonna shut it down. Like they're gonna like
The
we're not
online.
gonna.
Well, I feel like that's
Yeah.
where it's leading to, right?
Yes.
Because taking down the eShop, right, you can still download all games. We have a year to download and to buy what we want. But you're right. That means that the end is kind of, we're
Yeah.
seeing it's on the horizon here. We're seeing the end here for the online service on these consoles, which I feel is a little early. They didn't shut down the Wii
Mm,
online until a couple years ago, right? And the Switch was
yeah.
already out. I feel like they usually have 2 generations ahead before they do that. And who's to say they might keep it going until the next generation?
Hmm.
But I don't know. You can still hop online on Mario Kart 8 on Wii U, on Splatoon on Wii U, and find matches. Once they shut down the online on 3DS, you're not going to be able to find Pokemon trades anymore. You're not going to be able to play Triforce Heroes online anymore.
That's insane.
With friends. That is on the horizon, and that is one thing to think about. And I hear what you're saying, and I agree absolutely with what you're saying, that there's costs associated with it. It is at a loss for them at a certain point with keeping these servers up without people buying, games.
Hmm.
But you're right. Like, I feel frustrated that they're not offering a new way. Like, we can't. And I feel like it's just so frustrating because they have a perfect service set up on the Switch to do this with Nintendo Switch Online as this
Hmm.
Netflix library of games, but not everything that's on Virtual Console is on this. And people are saying, "Well, you had all of this time, that you could have downloaded it before. Why do you suddenly care now?" I don't like that argument because I don't feel like I'm alone with this. I feel like I'm the kind of
Hmm.
person where I am finding new old games all the time.
Right.
I would never have gotten into Metroid if it wasn't for Super Metroid on the Virtual Console. I never would have played Zero Mission if it wasn't for the Virtual Console. Those led to me buying Dread. I would not have been interested in buying Dread had I not played those other Metroid games on Virtual Console. I didn't
Hmm.
get interested in Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings until they were brought to Virtual Console on the Wii. I wanted to go back and I do emulate games, but I will only emulate if there is not a convenient way to buy them in a modern way. I'm not going to go spend, $130 on a Game Boy
Right.
Advance cart that the battery might not be working anymore. Like, I don't think that's reasonable to ask fans to do that if they want to play these games to get into these series where they're still making games for them.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just think Nintendo is like, we didn't find another way, and we don't care enough to find another way. So we're just shutting it down, and
And it
we're
just
going to
boggles
Switch.
my mind because look at what happened when Metroid Dread was announced.
Right.
Zero Mission and Metroid Fusion jumped to the top of the bestsellers
Hmm.
on the Virtual Console. People went back. They went back and they bought them to play them to get ready for Dread.
Yeah.
And I feel like this sort of thing happens. It might not be a huge amount of people, but I think that if these things were more readily available for people, they would take advantage of it.
And
And
it's kind of sickening. Like it just like I saw a response, and they took it down where they were just like, we find Nintendo Switch Online the best route to acquire and play classic games to a broader audience. I almost like shriek. I love Game Pass. Okay, I mean, Nintendo Switch Online's fine. I'm able to pick and choose whatever I want, but I
I
don't
like it
own
as
it.
a service model. I do
Yeah.
like it as a service model.
Right.
I would much rather have that and like have all of the games available there so that I can try
Right.
F-Zero for 10 minutes and find out that I don't like it rather than spend $7 on it and never play it again. No offense to F-Zero fans. But that's the thing. Like, I feel like that's a good model for people to invest in and try and play. And it does resemble Game Pass. And I know that they're saying that they don't have plans to offer the classic content in other ways as a business thing, but like, I don't know, like they want to, I guess maybe they want people to panic buy all of these, but I still don't feel like after this expires that they're going to bring Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games, that they're going to bring all of these old. We're losing so many Super Nintendo titles. There's like Super
Right.
Mario RPG I played on there. You can't play that on Super Nintendo Online. There's a whole host of other ones that I played on Virtual Console that are never going to be available on Switch Online. I get that there's licensing things. I get it, whatever. But, and then just the stance that they take on piracy. Like, what do you want me to do? I don't think Nintendo sees games as an art the way that we do.
Right. And I think, we emulate games and go through those avenues because like there's not really an accessible way to get these games anywhere else. So, and it's actually kind of simple now these days. I think a lot of people
It
can
is,
do
but
it.
you can't expect most people to do that. You can't
I
expect
don't
casual
expect
people to do
even
that.
5% of like Nintendo
Not even.
audience, right?
No.
Like, so yeah, like if you're, this is the one avenue you're gonna get classic content, that is gonna suck because all the GBA games, the Game Boy Color games, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of my 3DS titles right now, and just like, oh, there's that, and then there's that, and then there's that. It's just like it's gonna be gone forever
We're
until
losing a
they make
lot
coming back.
of, and we're losing a lot of games that are not going to be available to play anywhere else. You won't be able to play Minish Cap anywhere else. You won't be able,
Mm-hmm.
even just like 3DS digital only titles that aren't even,
Right.
aren't even Virtual Console titles. Like, what's that other Game Freak one? The Pocket Card
Pocket
Jockey or
Jockey.
something.
That game
Yeah.
is so good
People
too.
love
It's
that
very,
game, and
very good.
you're not going to be, and you can't buy it in a store. It was digital only. Like, what are you to
Mm-hmm.
do if you years later had never heard of this game and maybe saw your favorite YouTuber talking about it and said, man, I really want to play this now, and you can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I liked what you said earlier. I wish that they let you save purchases to your account and bring it forward. And like, I get you
Right.
can't do that for all the 3DS games, but you can do that for a lot of what they have now.
There's a lot of virtual like I'm imagining Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, NES, SNES, those type of systems where it's pretty straightforward to
We have
emulate and
N64
bring.
now. Yeah.
Right. If they just, I don't know, just transfer it over, that would be great. Or just like even have
Ryan
the
Turfer
option
brings up a good
of,
point. TurboGrafx
yeah,
games. I bought a couple TurboGrafx 16 games on Wii U
that's
Virtual Console.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
never would have had a chance to play those before if it weren't for that.
Exactly. Or something like a discounted price. Like, hey, we're bringing it over. Here's a, like, I don't know, $5 off. Or I don't really care. If you put a price tag on it, at least you have an option to get it
Mm-hmm.
back some other way.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, well, these are the games I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna keep them, and then eventually I'm not gonna be able to re-download them. So guys, get your hardware, get your batteries. Like, this is pretty much the end unless you really want to emulate. Um, that's probably the only option you got. Is, especially I'm thinking of handheld wise. Like these things bust. Like I had to go through like 4 3DSs. Like, so.
And then even
Anyways,
then, emulation for some of these, like N64 does not emulate well. Like, I played 1080 snowboarding on Wii U Virtual Console. I have never tried to emulate that game, but if it's anything like emulating most N64 games, it probably is not a fantastic option.
Gotcha.
So,
Fire Emblem Fates, the Revelations DLC, where it merges Birthright and Conquest together, that's out. It's only on a special edition copy of Fire Emblem that's now priced between $300 and $500, and I can imagine it getting more expensive. Like now this announcement just came out, so yeah,
a lot of people
not
wrote in
good.
with questions for us about this, and I think
Sounds
a
good.
lot of them have to do more with celebrating the life of the Wii U and 3DS than complaining about this. So that'll be a nice little pick me up. So thanks for bringing
Right.
this back down to earth, everybody. Donnie wrote it. Donnie was feeling very passionate. He's very, very passionate about these two consoles. So I'm going to read everything that he sent me. It is
Okay, sounds good.
lengthy to show his passion about this. He says, well, it's about that time to say farewell to the 3DS and Wii U. How will you remember Nintendo's last generation before the Switch? Back when we could see in 3D without glasses and had screens embedded in our controllers. The easiest question that should be asked to the most sacred of shacks: what games deserve ports from to Switch from 3DS and Wii U? Also, hidden gem favorite 3DS games. He came up with his own answers that I will read before we answer. He said it's always super easy to suggest any Zelda game should be ported. But that doesn't make it wrong. Port Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Link Between Worlds, you bastards, he says. 3DS meant so much to me as a Fire Emblem fan. I would love to see Fates and Awakening live on other consoles. WarioWare Gold should never have been released on the 3DS. He says some hidden gems to keep in mind are Kirby Planet Robobot, Ironfall, Moon Chronicles, and I have no idea how to say this, Dementium Remastered. Never heard of it, but I guess that's what makes it a hidden gem. So what should be ported at this point? We already had quite a few ports.
Quite a few ports. Not enough 3DS ports, you know? Like,
that's true.
I wish there's a lot of RPGs in the 3DS, a lot of remakes, a lot of ports from just like classic titles, a lot of 3D makeovers in a way, like the Dragon Quest series, Etrian Odyssey, Persona Q, Shin Megami Tensei. They're all like all those games I just said. Go on eBay, look at the physical price. You don't want to buy those physically anymore. You gotta buy it on the store like now. Yeah, I need those kind of ported over onto Switch. I know we have enough RPGs on Switch, but we gotta have more in there. You know what I mean? Like
never too many. I think yes, the obvious ones for Wii U. I think the only ones that I still care about being ported over are the two Zeldas, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. For 3DS, it would be very cool to see Link Between Worlds. It would be very cool to see Samus Returns. A lot of those late hitters, I think, that came to 3DS that you're right, probably should have been on Switch to begin with, like WarioWare Gold. The 3DS had a lot of really good games. Can you think
Link
of any
Between Worlds, right?
Between Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Xenoblade Chronicles X, I think that's gonna get lost in that console. So I'm surprised that got lost and not Tokyo Mirage Sessions that got ported over. I was surprised by that. So yeah, there's a lot of games.
A lot of people would love Animal Crossing New Leaf to be ported.
Really?
I hear that talk in the Animal Crossing community so much. I don't know. I feel like I didn't get like very deep into the 3DS compared to a lot of people. I played like Zelda and Pokemon, and that was my little machine that played those games, and then whatever else came my way.
I played Shovel Knight on 3DS for the first time. I'm glad that got ported over and is everywhere now, but man, that was such a great game on 3DS. Look up, like, if you just look up a Wikipedia list of Atlas and 3DS games, there's at least 15 to 18 3DS games that's just like, they're so good. Kid Icarus is another good one I've heard. That does the gyroscope on the 3DS pretty well. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, that's another one.
Never played that. Yeah.
That's a good one. What else on the 3DS? Picross 3D. I played that so much. Oh my goodness, that is
all those are going to be
game.
gone.
I can't like, I gotta download it right now. Actually, I want to make sure it's on my 2DS. I want to get another 3DS because I'm not sure about my 2DS XL. The 2DS XL, the battery is actually the original 3DS, like the same capacity, not the newest one or whatever. So yeah, I'm not. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for porting over in games for me.
For porting over, yeah, I think for me too. I'm trying to think of hidden gems. I don't know if I can come up with any for 3DS, but something that I never hear anybody talk about on the Wii U was Game & Wario. overall the game was pretty trash, like the actual game itself, but there was one multiplayer game in it that was kind of like a twist on Pictionary, where one person it would be played local multiplayer, and you would take turns, and one person would be drawing on the gamepad, and it would it would have a word on the gamepad, and people could draw on it, and then the drawing would come up on the TV, and people would have to guess what it is, and then you could tap whoever guessed it first, and it would award them points, and then you pass it on to the next person. So it was kind of a cool take on Pictionary that I had a ton of fun with. It's a great kind of couch multiplayer party game, but I wish I could think of more hidden gems. I feel like what you knew about on the Wii U was what you got, because there weren't so many games that you kind of knew what the gems were.
There's a lot of games I ported over already too from Wii U. Just Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. That would be great. That would be kind of cool.
I think those are the last big ones. We had a lot of very similar questions about Adam had also asked, what games do you want to come to the Switch? He wanted Xenoblade Chronicles X. Kroller had said, with the announcement of the Wii U and 3DS eShops closing, what are some must-have games you would recommend picking up? I think we covered that. Were there any others you could think of?
Not necessarily. Not 3DS exclusive. There's actually a lot of indie games that ported over to Switch or whatever. But yeah.
I mean, if you're not into the emulation scene, I would really go through franchises in general, just with a fine-tooth comb, and think about, do I think I will ever maybe be interested in this someday? Because I didn't know that I would be interested in Earthbound or Metroid or whatever, and I played them years later. So really think about that. Or just get
a little bit new
emulation.
interest for you, like Undertale is in the similar vein as well. So
yeah. And then Kyle wants to know, what was your favorite game on the 3DS, and what was your best memory when owning one? He says, for someone like me who never owned a 3DS, how would you rate the console on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the absolute best? I think that the 3DS, barring Switch, I don't think Switch counts as, just a handheld. I think that the 3DS is their best handheld of all time.
I agree with you, just because you can play DS games as well. If you kind of separate the libraries between DS and 3DS, I think there's a lot of debate, and I think a lot of people would go with DS library because it's so huge. But yeah, 3DS, the system itself, you got all these games you can play DS and 3DS. So my favorite game on the 3DS is probably Fire Emblem Awakening. But number 2, really close, is Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I absolutely love those remakes. I love Gen 3, right? It's a Gen 3 game, right? So but anyways, I give the 3DS like a 9. It's so good, Kyle.
It's pretty deserving of that. Yeah. It's not too late to get one. You can get them for a 2DS on Nintendo Store refurbished for $99. Do it. It is the best console purchase. Yeah, when it's in stock, the best console purchase you will ever make. Before these games start increasing in price, because it's getting phased out. I don't really see the games in stores too much anymore on shelves.
They're not in GameStop anymore. It looks as small as like a Vita game selection, which is non-existent.
They have a couple.
Anymore.
Yeah. I would agree. I would say either Omega Ruby or Pokemon X are my favorites. I think I've spoken about this quite a few times. My memories of playing my 3DS on transportation when I was studying abroad in Denmark. It made train rides a lot more interesting. But good memories with 3DS.
Good stuff.
I'll miss the support, and I will miss when the online goes down. I still use online on 3DS. I have used online on Wii U recently. Yeah.
The last time I went on the 3DS, I was trying to go through the shop, and I'm just like, I'm glad. I'm like, it's actually, the Switch shop is miles better than the 3DS shop. The 3DS shop is just,
it's hard to navigate.
Yeah. It's trash. It really is. You gotta really, yeah, you gotta know what you're looking for. So I would, if you could buy it on the website, that's how I would do it. If you need to get on the 3DS, search the game like to the words into the format because you
If
can't
you type
search
in
through that store.
Pokemon, you'll get like not just the games, but you'll get videos, you'll
You
get
get
like
trailers.
demos, you get trailers, you get like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
So
All right. Anything else we want to say about this eShop closure announcement? Like I said, you have until March, but not really. Put your
mhm,
funds in now. Start doing your
mhm.
research now. You don't want to be caught left not having what you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
Moving on. Retro Studios decided to shake things up today. They quietly updated their Twitter profile banner. And yes, that's news. Because, and remember, they're the ones who are developing Metroid Prime 4. They've been quiet lately, but today they uploaded a banner. It wasn't even a tweet, they just uploaded the banner on their profile that displays the silhouette of a character who appears to be Samus Aran in a dimly lit blue corridor. Well, that's the news, but that is potentially our very first look at Metroid Prime 4. Could that mean that there is news about this game on the horizon? That this is the first thing that they're showing us? I mean, it's gotta be Metroid Prime 4, right? What else could it be?
Give it 2 years.
why
We feed
why are they doing
the
this now? Why
fans.
would they just randomly upload their header like this?
I have no idea to mess with people, and it's hilarious. I'm sure the social chair in there is
Definitely
just like,
messed with
"Hey,
people.
what if we just change the banner?" And I bet their boss is like, "Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, let's do that."
Just a troll.
I could
Not
just
even
see
tweet about
Elias
it.
just like blowing up in his head, and everything is like, "This is the best day
He's
since I don't know."
analyzing the pixels, seeing what can I see, what
Each
can I find.
See, if you put the pixels down to digitize into a number sequence is actually the Illuminati sequence. So you have to go backwards and inwards. And you gotta have to submit it through the Metroid Prime trilogy. You have to go through all these various
See,
things.
I'm
It's cool.
feeling a little more optimistic about this than you are. I don't think it's a troll. I think that they will show something to us probably around E3 time. I don't think the game's
Oh,
coming out this
really?
year, but I think they'll have something to show us this year.
What do you think? Like a tease of some kind, or
I think it'll be probably similar to the first Breath of the Wild sequel trailer that we got, where it might be
okay?
a short, cryptic teasing trailer, shows us kind of what it looks like, just enough to kind of get us hyped that, hey, look, we're working on it, we have something to show. Leave us alone for a little while longer.
Yeah.
But
No, a
the
teaser's
image looks cool. It looks
believable.
very cool.
It does actually look kind of cool, and you can see a little bit of the detail. Like you look in there, it's like, yeah, that's Samus, all right, in some aspect.
The pose that she's in is really cool. It's like a very confident stance. The
Hmm.
corridor itself, I don't know if maybe I was the only one who was thinking this, but it's almost like it's in the shape of her visor. I don't know if anyone else noticed
Yeah.
that or if it was supposed to be that way, but it looked really cool. There was some lights coming down from the ceiling. I love how we can get very excited about a Twitter header.
I saw Twitter just blowing up in the middle of the day. It's like, oh, what's happening? He's like, look at the banner, guys, and I'm like, wow, they
So
look at everything.
they do.
What
They
was
do
the
some piece
banner
of this.
photo before? Like,
It
does
was just the
anyone
Retro
know?
Studios logo.
Oh, okay,
It
okay.
wasn't for any particular game.
Well, that's movement of some kind. Like
Mhm,
they
mhm.
are making the game, guys. We'll
They're
see
making it.
when.
Get excited.
Get excited.
Nintendo
Um,
also tweeted tonight that Majora's Mask will release on Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pass service next week on Friday, February 25th. We knew that it was coming this month, but now we have a date.
mhm.
March's game will likely be announced right after it releases next week, so get excited for the worst way
Cool.
to play Majora's Mask.
Yeah. Play on 3DS. Get it on
Play it on
3DS.
3DS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, now available on Switch, Crunchyroll. This announcement came
Mm.
randomly today. It's a streaming service for anime shows and movies. It joins YouTube, Twitch, Pokemon TV to the list of streaming services on Switch. If you are a newcomer and have never had Crunchyroll before, you can get a 14-day free trial. You an anime
Crunchyroll's
fan?
cool. I haven't been to anime recently, but I have watched a few shows. Pretty good. Crunchyroll is a very nice service. Like it has
Yeah.
a
I think it's the
bunch
most
of.
popular one, right?
It's the most popular one, and Sony is Sony owns Crunchyroll. They own something else. Do they own crap? It's the other anime too, anime like service or studio or whatever. But they kind of monopolize that whole area. So they kind of just intermix now. Funimation, thank you, Ryan. So yeah, Crunchyroll. That's a cool way to watch anime shows
I
now on
like
your
seeing this
Switch.
stuff on Switch. I know it's
Yeah,
coming 5 years into the Switch's lifespan, but I
yeah.
can't complain. It's there.
There's
Another
not
way to
there's not
watch.
gonna be a Netflix. There's not gonna be a Disney Plus. There's not gonna be Amazon Prime. Stop bitching about it, please, because it's not coming. I'm sorry.
Hey, we could have said Crunchyroll's not coming, and here it is.
That's
Oops.
true.
All
Good
right.
job,
Super
Weebers.
Mario RPG director would love his final game to be another Mario RPG. So this one's kind of cool. Ben Hansen of
Mm-hmm.
MinMax recently interviewed, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his name right,
Go for it.
Chihiro Fujioka, one of
That's
Super
pretty
Mario
good.
RPG's directors. He was asked about getting his hands on a Mario RPG again at some point in his career, and he answered, "Yeah, I would absolutely love to make one. Yeah, so in my career, I've been involved in a lot of games, and I would really like my final one to be another Mario RPG game if possible. I would like to go back and create a Mario RPG different from Mario and Luigi, where you're only controlling Mario."
Mm.
So nothing's in the works, obviously, but I mean, that's cool that he has the interest in it. I wonder how much, say he has in making something like that happen, if he could offer to
Mm-hmm.
step up for that kind of role if they're ever interested in making one. But I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people really love Super Mario RPG, and for a lot of people, the Mario and Luigi series didn't really hit the same spot for them
Right.
that Mario
Um.
RPG did.
Also, lots of great Mario and Luigi games on the 3DS. Just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah. Just saying. That's kind of cool. So are they? So is this guy from Nintendo or is he from? Who made Super Mario RPG? I forgot. It was a Bandai.
Square made it.
Square.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, sounds
But
good.
he was one of the directors of the game. So yeah, he probably wouldn't like be able to decide to make one, but
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe if he expressed interest in it or said that he would be up for the job.
Mhm. That would be
He
really
worked at
cool.
Alpha Dream, which didn't
Okay.
Nintendo owned and then closed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, something like
So
that.
he has
I don't know.
connections with Nintendo.
I'm sure. It's kind of cool to have an interview with this guy after so many years.
Yeah,
And
really, really cool of MinMax to be able to talk to him.
mhm. And it would be cool to see another type of style of Mario RPG because we really haven't gotten anything other than, as we said, the Mario and Luigi games that's been coming out. So that would be cool, but I don't know how much impact this guy would have in a new Mario RPG. He's not a Hideo Kojima. He's not like I haven't heard of this guy until now. So
Right, right, right.
um it's gonna be, I don't know. It would be interesting um if they ever bring a Mario RPG back. I don't know who would handle it, or if it would be Nintendo itself or outsource it or whatever. What happened? Is my audio? Oh no, you're muted now. Well, anyways, yeah, mic is muted. I cannot hear you at all. Guys, it ran out of battery. Is she coming back? Hold on. It's dead, Jim. Oh no. Oh, okay. Rebecca is Mr. Mime now. I see the lights flicker though. It's coming back. Oh, I hear something. I hear a click. Say something. No? I thought I heard a mouse click. Oh no. say whatever I want to say. Okay, guys. How's it going, y'all? I'm doing okay. Tell us about life, Garrett. Well, life is going fine. I want to make some more time for video games. It's just been a lot of different life, man. Life is oh, is she back? Life is busy, guys. Life is huge. Is she back? Is Rebecca back? Oh, I hear something. Like, say something.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. Hold on.
Oh,
I'm so
no.
sorry. I don't know what happened. I mean, I do know what happened. My headset died. But I don't know why I can't hear you now.
Let's see. I'm going to timestamp this. 57. Okay.
Let me see if I can play something else in here.
Okay, sounds good. We can all hear you, by the way. If you can hear me.
You know what? We have
What?
solutions to this.
Yeah. What is the solution, Rebecca? Triangle strategy for game of the year? Of course it is. That in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm interested in that game for sure. Bringing up the headphones.
One second.
I'm being patient. I'm doing it.
Okay, I hear you now.
Oh, okay, great. Wow.
I'll fix that afterwards.
I timestamped it. Like I know where we messed up. So
some bad news. My Audacity stopped recording.
Oh no! So,
but that's okay. Can we sync it up now and
local.
then, or do you want to sync it up now?
Yeah, if you want to sync it,
I can tell you when it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
It stopped.
You could tell me.
What?
You could tell me later too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me when.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Mark.
I thought you were gonna. Okay, sorry. You were still recording. Hold on.
I'm still recording.
Okay, you didn't stop recording. Okay, hold on.
Oh yeah. And do you want me to stop recording?
Hit stop. Then we'll.
I'm gonna hit stop right now.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All but right. Keep doing it on the same file.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. Start.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Record. 3, 2.
Oh no! Hold on. I got an error. Hold on.
Oh
I got an
man,
error.
what's the error? We could probably do this on the local.
Oh man. Okay. Do you want to try that?
We could try that.
Should I? Man, I'm sorry. Hold on. What if I open up a new? Yeah, no, I'm not. What happened to my computer? Okay, whatever.
Oh no.
Let's try to use the local. We'll just try to edit that.
So do you want to just do the? Well, I'm wondering if it didn't save your audio file either on Melon.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So we could try Audacity one more time.
Okay, hold on. Let me. Jeez, I feel so bad.
That's okay.
Let me save this one so I don't lose it. Because
yeah,
it's still here. It still exists. I didn't blue screen or anything. Start saving that. And then give it a second to export. My computer's slow.
Sounds good. Guys, I'm hesitating to get Triangle Strategy Day 1 because I want to go back to Shin Megami Tensei 5. No joke. I need to start beating games, not just play them and not finish them.
Yo, mood.
90% of my
games. I don't beat any game. I don't beat games anymore. Beating games is overrated.
Beating games is overrated.
That's saved. Okay, I think that this is. Okay, this is probably why. So if I change that to. No, it says error opening recording device, error code -9999 unanticipated host error. I've never seen that.
On Audacity?
Yeah. What does that mean?
What the hell does that mean? I don't know. And so you can't record because of the error right there?
I don't know. Every time I hit record, it says that. Let me.
Okay, so what we can do is the shared recording. We can download that. I can send it to you and see what we can do with that.
What do I got to do for that?
So that one's just going to be a combined, just one audio track. It's already in sync because it's on Melon.
Okay.
It's not like our local recordings, like our personal ones on Melon, but it's our shared one on the show. We could just
and then we can
download
just
an audio. Yeah, and then
Okay.
we just clean that up. Yeah.
Okay.
Literally this whole chunk of time we can just cut off.
Just cut all that out. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll help out with that.
And that's where normally Donnie edits to, is that recording.
Okay. So we were finishing up Mario RPG talk.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, we're done. Okay.
we're done with that.
Frazzled now. Okay. It'll be in the YouTube and the Twitch, so y'all can go back and laugh at me. Okay. So this is a pretty interesting story that I wanted to throw in the end here. Thousands of dollars of rare factory-sealed SNES games have been unearthed after 27 years in storage. This comes from Nintendo Life. They say when a video game store in Nebraska closed its doors for the final time in 1994, its entire stock was packed away and placed in storage, waiting for a new owner. Now, almost 30 years later, the stock has been unearthed and documented. So it's not just Super Nintendo games. The collection includes factory-sealed Genesis, Saturn, 3DO, Sega CD games. The highlights include sealed copies of Castlevania Bloodlines, TMNT, Turtles in Time, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy III, Secret of Evermore, and much, much more. So to give you some perspective, if you have no idea what we're talking about here, like Turtles in Time is worth $1,400 on its own in factory sealed form. Final Fantasy III can go for up to $1,200. These are factory sealed. Like almost none of these exist anymore.
Wow.
This is an unheard of find. It has so many holy grails of retro gaming collecting. So the fact that somebody found like boxes and boxes of this is like a literal gold mine.
That's kind of crazy. So it's a video game store. Did they
some owner or some manager must have said, okay, like we're closing up, let me put the rest of the stock that we have, just put it in storage, we haven't sold it. And
they placed it in storage. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if they kept it in the store. I'll be like, what's the weather condition?
No, because the store closed. I'm sure there've probably been 10 stores in that location since then.
Right.
Right. But yeah, imagine having, first of all, the foresight to know to store this away instead of just giving them away or throwing them out or whatever. And then to find it now.
Yeah, so is it the same owner that went back to his storage, or
that's a good point.
Like...
They didn't specify who exactly it was. I guess whoever was running the store at the time.
Okay, cool.
They didn't even say what kind of store, if it was just a local store or what, but this is an amazing find for whoever owns it.
Yeah, whoever owned it, but it's like 27 years later. Imagine just 27 years and you have that much. That's actually
there the whole time.
It's been sitting there that whole time. Yeah, and I wonder how many games it really is. I'm wondering if it's hundreds of these things or like maybe a few dozens. Or...
If you're interested in looking more about this, there's a YouTube video where they went through and they looked at every single thing that got pulled out. So you can watch, you can actually see the copies of the games themselves. Good. Yeah. It also makes me wonder how many other like boxes of factory sealed games might be sitting in storage. Maybe there's some other similar situations where stores have to close down. Makes me wonder what else is out there. It's cool to point
Right,
out
right.
if you're into the retro game collecting, which I feel like has been growing and growing in popularity lately. But yeah, that wraps up our news. We have a couple more questions to hit before we wrap up today's show. Brendan wanted to know, what are some games on the Switch that you were on the edge of whether to get it or not?
Hmm. There's a lot of games that are always kind of on the edge for me, and then I normally just wait on a sale, or like I keep seeing it on sale. There's ones like the Digimon Cyber Sleuth whatever collection, and it looks like a good 2-pack JRPG thing. It's just like every 2 weeks it goes on sale. I'm like, why do
Mm,
I want to get this now if it just goes on sale like every time? But other than that, Hollow Knight has been on like my mind a lot, just because I know I have it on PC, but it would be great to have it on a portable system. And guys, unfortunately, I probably won't get a Steam Deck anytime soon. Not, at least not this year.
Hollow Knight would look
Um,
very pretty on an OLED.
for sure. And also Death's Door. I'm on the edge of that because I try to play on PC. It's just that I don't think it's meant to be on controller for me. At least I need to have it on like a handheld system of some kind. But yeah, that's what's in my mind. Is a lot of games that probably indie, probably somewhere else, but it would be great on the Switch. But I have it somewhere else already. Those are
Mhm.
always on the edge for me, where I already have the game, but I would just love it on the handheld um, portable factor. So, what
Those are
about you?
some good answers. I feel like there are a lot of games that I really would like to play that I just they're on the back burner. I feel like they're not a priority for me, so I don't ever get around to playing them. I am often urged to buy and play Luigi's Mansion 3. I would love to at some point whenever I have a free
Oh, it's so
time moment that
good.
I will never have, but I want to. I am often urged to play Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I probably never will, but I'm often urged to
Oh,
do.
we always got her, guys. We always got her.
I know.
Fi Fire Emblem Three Houses is a time sink, so I don't
I
think
don't have the time.
exactly. Like, I don't think Fire Emblem would be to your taste, but Luigi's Mansion 3, I think that's one of the gems, like for sure.
I
Um,
know. Once it goes
and
on a really good sale, I'll finally buy it and probably not play it for another 3 years.
stream it.
I know.
It's a good looking streaming game.
I
Like
know.
it's
I've
one of the
seen it. It's
best looking games.
beautiful. I know.
And then also Astral Chain. That's another one that really looks good on the Switch as well.
I feel like we're gonna get an Astral Chain sequel. I don't know why. It's like speaking to me.
Well, Platinum Games is kind of, I don't know what. Have you been seeing the interviews with Platinum Games at
No,
all?
what's going on?
Well, there's one interview or a couple interviews now, kind of just speaking about, okay, are you open to acquisition, that type of question to that company, and they're like, well, like if we're able to be acquired and do what we want, sure, that would be a good like safety net for us, but overall no. It was kind of like a nebulous answer, right?
Right.
And then also they have, it's a hit or miss for them, and it's been more miss than hit recently.
Oh
I know
man.
Bayonetta 3 is coming
I know they're
out.
busy with that, so like I know that there's
Hmm.
like no chance of an Astral Chain thing, but like speaking to me. I don't know why. Maybe it'll
Yeah,
happen
they
someday.
have Babylon's Fall, which is a game coming out this month, I think, and there's absolutely no buzz with that game at all.
Oh
It's
wow.
failing. So
I haven't even heard anything about that.
yeah, that company's weird, I think. So
Yeah, well, maybe someday for those. John wants to know, in my opinion, the addition of Mario Kart DLC makes the Nintendo Switch Online expansion worth it, even without the family membership plan. Agree or disagree?
hmm. I think it's a great addition to the expansion pack. I forgot the exact price.
It's
Um
$50 a year, no
50 to,
monthly,
yeah.
without the family membership. So it's
Okay.
25 for the Mario Kart, it's 25 for the Animal
Mhm.
Crossing. So if you're if you're interested in both of those, maybe. I mean, you could buy both of those for $50 and keep them forever, not just 1 year. So I feel like you would have
Right.
to be interested in all three.
Yeah,
The
you'd be
Mario Kart
interested in.
DLC,
Yeah.
the Animal Crossing, and you're going to be spending some time playing Nintendo 64 or Genesis games.
Yeah, I think you gotta have to be invested in like all three of those to make it even worthwhile, or like even just like comparable to just like buy and keep just two of those, the DLC for Animal Crossing and then now the Mario Kart. But it's getting, the margins is getting a little smaller, and of course with family membership, if you got a good deal going like with other people, that's a great deal too, to do it under. So yeah, I think it's a little bit more balanced now, but I don't know. It's still a little, I think it's a little bit on the pricier side, but that's just how it's gonna be, I think.
Yeah. I mean, more power to you. I feel like if at the end of the day, if you're really enjoying what you're getting out of it, then it is worth it, regardless of the price.
Hmm.
Um, I still recommend going the family plan if you can. I am paying
Yeah.
$10 a year, and I am very, very happy.
Yeah.
All right. And then final question comes from Sterling. He says, since Nintendo is publishing, okay, is it Live Alive or is it Live Alive?
I have heard it Live Alive,
Live Alive.
I
Okay.
think.
I keep wanting
Yeah.
to say Live Alive, but it's okay. Live Alive. Since Nintendo is publishing Live Alive in America and bringing back other franchises like Advance Wars and Front Mission, what do you think is coming next? And do you think this marks a change in Nintendo culture with clearly giving old franchises another change after decades? We are
Mm,
seeing a lot of that. They brought back a lot in the past couple years. They brought back Famicom Detective Club. They brought
hmm.
back Pokemon Snap from the dead. They're localizing more things for the first time, like Live Alive. Like this
Hmm.
is pretty big for them lately.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good question.
Um, I would like to see more GBA games getting remade. I'm thinking of Golden Sun. That's
Golden
like the
Sun.
number one of the top things I can think of. But yeah, you're right. Nintendo's bringing it back, and also just these other Japanese companies. I feel like it's some sort of kind of trend going on in maybe in the Japan culture or whatever. Because I see a lot with Square Enix as well. I see a lot with Capcom
We're
with
getting
their
Chrono
Street.
Cross. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're getting Chrono, and we're getting so many types of remakes and remasters and ports from Square Enix itself. So yeah,
Good point.
it's definitely, that's becoming the trend for sure. Other than Golden Sun, I'm trying to think here. I'm not too sure from Nintendo. Well, what else do you think? What other franchises do you want to come back?
Um,
I've
I'm not like super familiar with a lot of games that never got localized. I mean, obviously Mother 3, I think that one's overdone. I think I talked about it like a week or two ago. There was that game that was made on the Link's Awakening engine for the Frog
mm,
Bell Tolls or whatever it's
yeah,
called. I
yeah.
would love to see that come over and get a official localization because that's a game I want to play. I would love to play a translated version of it officially. As for like bringing franchises back, you nailed it with Golden Sun. I would love to see that. Um, I
I
don't
feel like
know.
this is a tired question too, because
Yeah.
we've been asked this quite a bit. Like, what franchises do you want to come back? Um, yeah, I feel like one of the top requested ones in at least our sphere is Golden Sun. So
hmm But yeah, I think it is worth bringing up that this is seeming to be a trend that is coming
for
back, and
sure,
I like it. I'm
I
very
love
happy
it.
about this trend.
Another way we can buy older games, huh? Like, that's one route you can go. Nintendo, bring back, and like, I'm not saying like, oh, bring back like and make it $60. Like, oh, come on, like, give us like just an emulator and ports. You could just do it. You could just, it's like a flip of a switch. I really think so. But of
Press
course they're
that
just,
port button.
yeah, I know, but they won't, because they like money too much and they like their franchises a little too much.
I think the thing is because people are saying, oh, they're leaving money on the table, but I think they want the scarcity of it. We want it very available to us. They want it scarce so that when they pull it out of their pocket in 10 years, we can be very excited about it and rush to buy it. Nintendo values scarcity of their games.
Well, then I'm going to emulate then, because I'm not going to give them money that I've already given them that now I lost in old systems.
Do you know how many times
there you
I've
go.
purchased a Link to the Past because you can't bring forward your purchases?
Yeah.
I own a Link to the Past everywhere that it has been available.
Really? So
everywhere.
That's like
Super Nintendo.
Wow. Yeah, Super Nintendo.
Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance, okay.
It's not on GameCube.
It's on N64. No?
It's not on N64.
Really?
Wii Virtual Console. Wii U Virtual Console. Super Nintendo Classic. Switch Online. Am I forgetting anything?
Oh no, wait. It's not on that little handheld thing, right?
It's
not.
only
sold the 1 and 2.
The Game and Watch. It's 1, 2, and 3.
The Game and Watch.
Or no, 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening. No, it's not. But I do have that too. And if it did have 3DS, oh yes, 3DS
it was on
Virtual
3DS,
Console.
yeah.
On the new 3DS, new 2DS, yes, Pants McPants. So I own
new
7 copies.
Wait, is it new 3DS only game?
Yes.
That's just a load of
Yep.
crap. Oh my goodness.
So, yeah. Well,
that's a show.
That's gonna do it. We'll clean this up for posting.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for bearing with me, guys. All right, we will be back next week. Hopefully, Elaine will join us. She'll be able to join us and tell us what she's been up to, and she can give us her takes on some of the stuff. And we will see you next time, Koopalings.
Bye-bye.